All right, friends, it's T-Man, and I'm back with an educational video. You could call it Q&A, bro. So in this video, I'm going to explain why eccentric exercise is such a powerful modality or exercise, if you want to call it that, in the lifting world, and why it's very important and what it can do. And this is one of the reasons why it is extremely powerful. So for those people that lift concentrically, this is going to help you a lot, I guess. I mean, concentric lifters, they don't really build muscle, but whatever. But you definitely don't want to lose any mass either, right? All right, so this is from NCBI, PubMed, NCBI, whatever. It says here, muscle damaging eccentric exercise attenuates disuse-induced declines in daily myofibrillar protein synthesis and transiently prevents muscle atrophy in healthy men. Yes, it's a major thing that it can do. So if you are like, I don't know, bedridden, or maybe you've gone away for such a long time, you haven't lifted weights or anything like that, and you feel like you're about to atrophy, but you don't have time to lift, but you have some time you could go lift once. And this one time of lifting can actually emanate for more than 30 days. You understand me? It can keep you in this sort of state where you're not atrophying anymore. And what is that? Well, it's called eccentric exercise. So it says here, they say here, in conclusion, we demonstrate that the rapid decline in daily myo-PS rates induced by short-term limb immobilization of healthy volunteers is attenuated by prior execution of a single bout of muscle damaging eccentric contractions, and this is associated with a transient after 2 but not 7 days prevention of quadricep muscle atrophy. So a single bout of eccentric exercise can prevent your muscles from atrophying. So you see, you don't have to be a gym lifting slave. You understand me? You don't have to, I got to maintain my game, so I have to keep going in the gym lifting forever. You can literally do this once a month. You just come in, you damage all your muscles, and then you fuck off. Get it? You're not going to atrophy. So this is a prevention for people that say, I got to go to the gym. I got to maintain my fake gains. Get it? My phony gains and stuff. I got to go in there 5 days a week or whatever. Got to keep coming in. I have to come. I can't miss a workout day. Well, you can miss a lot of time. See what I mean? But as long as you come in once every 30 days and do a damaging session, that'll wear off this atrophy effect. See what I mean? That's how powerful eccentric exercise or contractions are. So yeah, presence of muscle damage appears to add complexity to the physiological mechanisms responsible for uncomplicated muscle disuse, atrophy, evidenced by the removal of the correlations between changes in MPY-PS rates, muscle volume, and muscle function. These novel data highlights and relevance of consideration the application for more complicated models of in vivo muscle disuse atrophy to study both applied and mechanistic outcomes. Okay, yeah, that's really the most important thing. There really isn't much for me to go into anymore here. So that was the most important part. That tells you a lot about eccentric exercise. And here's another thing. So you guys that are lifters, like I said before, people that lift concentrically, I'll explain something to you. The nuclei that reside there in your muscle, they are post-mitotic. Just lifting concentrically does not make them split and divide and increase in number. You understand me? They do not split and divide and increase in number. What splits and divides and increases in number is the satellite cell. And the satellite cell is not activated in the in the concentric form. You shortening your muscles, shortening them. You understand me? So they have to be activated in the lengthened position, which is eccentric. And they're activated through these damages. And then they come out, split, divide, and increase the number. And then they donate their nuclei. So nuclei themselves are post-mitotic. They do not split and divide. That's why when they talk about these people in lifting, they say, why is, here, I'll bring it up for you just to educate you, okay? People have a misconception. So when you read this report from NCBI PubMed, muscle fiber hypertrophy in response to 6 weeks of high volume resistance training in trained young men is largely attributed to sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Of course, because they have also adapted to their exercises. The eccentric has adapted. They're just lifting concentrically. And these nuclei, they're no longer donating. I mean, the satellite cell is no longer donating because it's only activated through muscle damage, through the eccentric exercise, but your eccentric has adapted. So once it becomes adapted and you keep lifting, because I'll explain why that has adapted as well in this video. So it does, okay? Because you've gained some muscle and it's adapted because you're going too light now, because you're lifting concentrically, your eccentric is too light. And so it's adapted, there's no more growth going on because you're not damaging anymore. And so it's largely, your training is largely attributed to sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. And these nuclei, they're post-mitotic. They don't split and divide and increase the number just because you keep lifting weights. Get it? So yeah. Just a second. So when you go to, like, what is it, NCBI PubMed, you'll see this section. It'll pop up here. So they always put it here at the top. A second period of exercise, a week after the first week, produces much less muscle damage, and then there's no more damage. Why does it start producing less damage the second week, and then the third week there's even less, and then finally there's no more? You guys call that newbie gains. Well, one of the proposed mechanisms is of course, you're going to get what? These sarcomere, like it says here. One proposed mechanism for this adaptation is the increase in sarcomere number in muscle fibers. You gain some sarcomeres. What made you gain the sarcomeres? Well, you were unaccustomed to that exercise. You understand me? That eccentric exercise that you did originally, you were unaccustomed to it. So one of the proposed methods is not getting damaged anymore because you have more sarcomeres. Of course, because you keep lifting, it's adapted, it's protected now. These sarcomeres are protecting the other weaker fibers from getting damaged with your exercises, but you're not doing eccentric. You're doing concentric lifting. You understand me? Your eccentric now is adapted and it's kind of light when it goes down all the time. So yeah. So, you know, what was this? What was this in the beginning? Oh, I'll tell you what that was. I don't know if it'll be this one that comes up. Sometimes this comes up too. There's some different ones that always come up. Hold on. This one's a good one too. Let me see what this is. Eccentric exercise is followed by sensations of stiffness and soreness the next day. There you go, damage. The current view of this mechanism that damage at the level of sarcomeres leads during repeated contractions to more extensive damage and ultimately to death of some muscle fibers. Well, they don't really die. You get a repair and a remodeling, get it? But anyways, you get the idea. So a unique feature, here it is. A unique feature of eccentric exercise for untrained subjects is that the development of delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, and stiffness, which is a result of muscle damage occurring primarily 24 to 48 hours after exercise. Yeah, well, yeah, this one is pretty good. I should copy this too. I don't know. I'll probably use this. I don't know. I'll post this maybe. But that's not the one I'm looking for. Hold on a second. Here it is. It's this one right here. So therefore, a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that what? Untrained subjects become stiff and sore the next day due to listen to what they say. Stiff and sore the day after eccentric exercising because of what? Damage to muscle fibers. So listen to what they say. You are lifting full range of motion. Remember, you are when you come to the gym. Let's say that you're untrained and you came into the gym and you lifted, right? A unique feature of the eccentric part, you lifting full range of motion, is that listen to what they say here, is that eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the day after because you got damaged, right? So you get this delayed onset muscle soreness. Eccentric exercising because of damage to muscle fibers. They get damaged. Now, in the membrane of the myofibrils, sarcoplasmic reticulum, and mitochondria, resulting in a delayed onset muscle soreness. All these things get damaged. They're all getting damaged. Even the nerves in there are getting damaged because they reside in these myofibrils. So that's a unique feature of eccentric exercise, is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the next day. But why aren't they becoming, but when you go into the gym, why are you no longer getting this anymore? You're doing full range of motion because you're you're definitely not overworking that muscle. Especially going heavier every time. Even if you are adapted to the eccentric at this point lifting, you are going always heavier concentrically because people do that. It's automatic in the gym. You're going to get the nervous system to tweak. You're going to get better at lifting concentrically for sure. But the eccentric, what's going on there? Because you're not doing enough. It's an overworking. You can still, if you overwork that muscle with the concentric, then the eccentric will get overworked. The muscles in the eccentric will get overworked. You can bring back that damage, but none of you are doing that because you don't understand you don't understand that. You can't fathom, you can't visualize that or fathom that. Now, the more sophisticated way to bring back this damage and get as much damage as you want in a shorter session is eccentric overload. Eccentric overload. So you're doing eccentric exercises mostly that you couldn't pull up for a full concentric. You understand me? So the load is astronomically heavy eccentrically. So it's too heavy for you to pull for a full concentric. Then that is an eccentric overload exercise. You understand the difference? They didn't say overload exercise here. They said a unique feature of just eccentric exercise. But I know that obviously these people are initiating with concentric. You understand me? So there you go. So that's why you guys are not getting damage, because the damage starts going away. The second week, it starts going away because, well, you got more sarcomeres in the beginning, but then you're not getting any more, and then you got nothing, and then you've adapted, and you're not overworking that muscle to get it even damaged, and you're not doing any eccentric overload training either. So you're not doing any of the things that you need to actually build more of these sarcomeres and everything else. Get it? Real muscle. Let's just put it that way. Myofibrillar growth. So I don't know what else to say there in that video. You probably get the idea. But I could pull up lots of stuff on this. Okay, so yeah. But I think that pretty much sums it up in this video. Yeah. I mean, this from AI. Yes, it is well-known characteristics of eccentric exercise that untrained individuals experience delayed onset muscle soreness due to muscle damage, which is typically well, of course they do. And then why? Because eccentric exercise, the lengthening, is what causes the damage. But why aren't you getting damaged anymore after that? What's a unique feature of trained muscles? They're adapted. How did they adapt? Well, the eccentric is too light, and you're not overworking it, and you got these sarcomeres in the beginning. So they're protecting. The reason why muscle builds is to protect muscle from not getting any more damage. Listen to me. What's dangerous? What's the most dangerous exercise in the gym? The eccentric part. Okay. What happens in the eccentric? That's where everybody gets injured. Get it? They get fucked. They get injured and they end up in a hospital. So why would your muscles build more of these myofibrillars? To protect you from getting what? From getting fucking injured, bro. Get it? That's the adaptation process. It's to protect. So to protect yourself, how do you protect your muscles from getting more damage? From getting injured by growing more of these fucking myofibrillars. That's how. How do you do it? In the eccentric. You're damaging it in the eccentric. See what I mean? You're damaging it. Not to the point where you end up in the hospital. You're getting micro damages. You're controlling the weight. That's the difference between dropping it and controlling it. If you drop it, you'll end up in the hospital. But if you control it, then you'll be okay. That's why a lot of these bench pressers and everybody in the gym, they rip their muscle right off the bone. Boom. All right, dude, because they're weak. You understand me? They never built any real muscle. They are physically weak. You understand the difference? If you never, lots of people are going to tell you that, hey, I live concentrically, so I'm stronger than you. Yeah, but what's the difference between a person that does concentric overload, and let's say there's a guy that all he does is eccentric overload? Who do you think is going to be stronger? The guy that does concentric overload or the guy that does eccentric overload? The guy that built more myofibrillar growth and got stronger and activated more of these, what do you call them? These motor units and everything and energy receptors, or the guy that just lives concentrically, that does not build muscle, and actually there is a loss in sarcomere number and muscle. There's a loss in series in sarcomeres when you lift concentrically. There's a loss in muscle, and so who do you think is stronger? Who's going to be stronger? See what I mean? The big dude that built all these sarcomeres and he's massive and he's fucking super strong, or the guy that stayed a small, strong guy to lift a heavy weight concentrically? Get it, dude? So you tell me, man, what you think about that. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends. I gotta go.